So, Joe, Reedus gets his fourth straight today, Mountain West Freshman of the Week. You had brought him up before the year, but you had also brought up Marcel kind of as I think these guys will contribute. What has Reedus done that has maybe exceeded your expectations? And what do you think Marcel maybe still needs to do to catch up, if anything?
I think Reedus has just, it's just been himself. I think anytime you can, as a freshman, somehow, some way, you come into a new system. Obviously these guys both are from the prep school, so some familiarity. But more so been put in a situation where he's been able to, just be himself. And that means you play with sort of confidence. You take the thinking part out of it. I think that's true of pretty much every college basketball player, and any basketball player. And then more so with freshmen, when do they get to the point where they're just playing and they're not thinking anymore? And that's a process for every guy. It's a process, and it's a continuum of some guys, they're playing without thinking immediately because that's just the kind of players they are. They pick things up so quickly. Other guys, it takes longer. Reedus has been in a situation where I think he's very comfortable. It's not to say, I just talked to him yesterday after practice, as you continue to play the way you play, you got to learn continually how to use your brain. Okay, what are we doing? Keep growing that. What are we doing? Where's the open holes? Because and they don't. So I think there's going to be more room for growth, but most importantly, just keep playing to who he is, because he's just a basketball player. He understands what the game's about. He plays with the kind of, energy and sort of passion and toughness that's required. You look for it in every guy you ever coach, So as it relates to Marcel, I've seen an uptick in him. It's almost along the lines of what I just said. Some guys come along a little more quickly. When's the light bulb go on for certain guys? It's different for everybody. And, I've been happy with him. If I can go back, the one game I didn't play him was Tarleton. That was for a reason. He's played. It didn't stop me from playing him at Northern Colorado. I played him in both league games. I've played him more minutes, and I'm playing him more minutes because of how he's been playing and how he's been moving. And it's good to see that. It's good to see when you get in. And what I'm looking for now is I'm looking for guys right now for where this program is, who understand what the challenge is now for our program, and it's called the Mountain West, and who's going to bump up their level of their play, who's going to raise their level of competitiveness, because that's where this program is right now, and this is what's required for us to, take this next step for the program, and it's called league play. And I've seen that from Marcel so far, so it's good to see that, and if we need to keep seeing it from everybody, and if I keep seeing it from him, then he's going to keep playing more and more and more.
Before the year, you also brought up how big of an impact Jake could have on Ethan. You said the two of them kind of working together in that backcourt could really be something successful. I don't think the box scores may speak to Ethan Taylor's presence this year, but what are you maybe seeing from him that gives you some optimism that he's growing from last year?
Well, now, same thing with Ethan. I got to see whatever this answer to this question is, which is going to be positive. I have to see it in league play. And that's the challenge for Ethan. I have to see it in league play. Now, I saw it in non-league play this year. And what I saw, to answer your question, is, sort of a good chemistry between these guys of playing together for the last, year and a half and learning each other's games, and Ethan knowing, wow, Jake, okay, I know what that guy did. And not just Jake, but other guys. And as Corbin came, in the fold, and now Bo's in the fold as that team's coming together that way. In the non-conference, I saw Ethan's understanding of, okay, his turnovers went down. The movement of the basketball, the taking care of the basketball, sort of the understanding of who Jake Heidebreder is, and having, these centers be able to contribute to in their own ways. I saw an understanding for Ethan of, okay, well, this is how I'm going to play. My assist-to-turnover rate's going to get better. My turnovers are going to go down. And the other thing was that we stressed to him was, you keep working, and we've done this since the end of last season, you keep working on your three-point shooting. And I want you to be a 40% three-point shooter. Because if you take care of the ball and you have a good assist to turnover ratio and you cut down on your turnovers and you're a 40% three-point shooter, geez, you're a really good player. And now he's got to do that in league, right? And we didn't do that in league last game. You know, I'm going to throw out San Diego State as the first game, but I know we didn't do that last game. And now that's the challenge, you know, not only for Ethan, but specifically to your question, that's the challenge for him. He's got to raise the level in this league to be able to do exactly what I just said against league competition, not non-league competition.
Coach, the post-game Nevada, you mentioned last 30, 35 minutes, you guys did pretty well. Now that you've had a chance to look back at this last game, was there anything more specific that you guys didn't do well?
Didn't do well?
Correct.
We didn't play the first 5 minutes. You know, I mean, that's really what it came down to, and it's a learning experience again for our guys of what league play is, and you got to start well, and you got to impose your will on the game immediately. The physicality, the toughness has to be there as soon as the ball goes up, because the game is on, and we didn't do that, and that's got to be what we learn, you know, and that's got to be what we learn, because you got to be like that every possession all game long. That's what this league is. That's called raising. That is raising your level. That is raising your competitive level, because that's what's required in this league, because every team in this league, you know, has a history of beating us. And they come in here knowing that. And they have a history of doing it, and they come in here trying to beat us up and out-physical us and do it for 40 minutes and beat us up and think we're going to take it. And we got to get to the point where, no, we're not going to take it. We know what this league is, and we're going to be ready, and we're going to be ready right from the start. And I feel strongly that if we had done that, you know, on whatever the day was, Saturday or Sunday, you know, the outcome, that's how you make the outcome be different. You know, until we do that, the outcome's not going to be different. And that's the sole message to our team right now. And the reason is like I told the team, because we've made progress. You know, we won 9 non-conference Division I games here for the first time since 2006-07. Well, if I go back to that 2006-07 team, I know how many games they won, right? So we've made that. I know what we did and who we were 2 years ago, and it doesn't look anything like what that was 2 years ago. So, you know, we have made that progress. Okay, what that's done is put us at this spot now where, okay, well, here's the challenge. Here's where we're at now. And that's all we got for 16, is it 16 now? 16 straight now. It was 18 straight. Now we got 16 straight where it's the same every single game. And when are we going to know that, right? And play that way right from the start every game. And, you know, we got another crack at it tomorrow night. I know that's what Utah State's going to be doing. I know they're coming in here doing it. I know that's the game plan, right? It's not going to change for 16 straight games. And hopefully our guys are going to sort of rise to that challenge and use this as their like motivation, you know, going forward. Like, okay, it's us against the world, man. That's what it is. Nobody thinks we can do this. Is that going to be the motivation, you know, that we need to sort of keep us going, you know, keep us grinding, keep us resilient, you know, keep having that fight, knowing, you know, we're using our brain while we're doing that. And so I expect to see us do it better. And then my expectation is going to see us get to the point where I expect us to do it every game. And then I expect us to do it every game, all game. And that's really the ultimate process for these guys. As you asked about Ritas, you ask about Marcel, they're freshmen. You know, we talk about Ethan, you said Jake, they're sophomores. You know, so it's like that's the ultimate sort of process we're in right now, to develop those guys and grow those guys, you know, in the manner in which I'm speaking about.
On the opponent's standpoint from Utah State, what have you seen from them? How well do you match up with them?
Well, the second part, I don't know. No, they're Utah State's very experienced team. You know, very experienced team. I mean, every guy who's going to play tomorrow, I think, you know, we obviously played against them last year. I only think there's going to be one guy out there, number 30, that didn't play against us last year. They're one of the best offensive teams in the country. I think they are the best three-point shooting team in the country. I know one of the kids is leading the country in three-point shooting, I believe. They're one of the best passing teams. So again, that's what we're going to have to sort of figure out a way to take away sort of their collective way of playing. Their ability to play together. We got to somehow figure out a way to get them to be more individual oriented, and that's not to say that they can't be. They're good players, but that's what we have to try to do to the best of our ability, and obviously limit those 3-point shots, because they're going to have they have 5 guys that in some respects they're all shooting over 40% from 3, so that's going to be a huge part of the game.
Coach, last one. You've had, obviously, you had a couple guys you had your eyes on before the year. Bo and Corbin have kind of been elevated into roles due to circumstance. Is there kind of anyone else that maybe hasn't seen significant time on the floor that you see maybe getting up into the minutes as the year goes on?
Yeah, I do. And I just started with it yesterday. Now, again, I think it's all related to the individual player in terms of how they act and behave every day and how they respond to what the coaching is first. And then 2, it's okay, like I told our team, we're going to do something about what we just saw in our last game in the first 5 minutes of the game, and our players saw it. And because I am seeing certain things from certain guys, we are going to keep developing some guys, and one name I'll say, and you never know. We're playing 9 guys right now. To play 10 guys, it gets harder and harder. To play 11, it's harder and harder to do that. But like I told our guys, all I do is watch practice every day. I watch everything that every guy does, and everything I do is based upon what I see. I don't have anything in my mind except what I see. And this Jake Murphy, over the last 3 weeks, I've just been watching. I watch everything, and the way he carries himself, the way he does everything that we do. Is just such a simple thing as how he dribbles the ball, and when we're doing that, he's doing it exactly the way we want. He's strong, he's getting physical, and he's doing what's required to make the coach notice him. And when the coach notices you for the right reasons, well then it's the coach has to figure out, okay, how do I get him in there? And first what I got to do is sort of get him in there in practice to make sure that he's ready. So that if I ever do say, get in the game, well, we've prepared him, But I know he's been doing a good job of preparing himself, and that's the most important thing.
He had a small boot on, I think, earlier in the year. Does his not having played a ton yet, is that anything to do with it, or is it strictly seeing on court what he can do?
No.
Did the injury play into that?
Yeah, no, the injury definitely did. I mean, that was early. Early on, he did play in the first game, and there was reasons for that. And then just, the nature of a season comes into play. And now, like I just said, I give him credit. He's making me notice him for the right reasons. And now after this game, even yesterday, I'm getting him in there. I'm getting him in there today in practice to get him ready. I don't know if he'll get in or not, but I know we got a bye week. And when you have a bye week, that means you have more practice time. And that practice time is designed for us and concentrate on us and not say another team's name. And I think that's going to be beneficial to what we're talking about. And it's not only going to be beneficial to him, because I think there's another 2 guys that as we keep going through this year, we're going to work hard to get them to get to that same level. Because that's what we have to do, because I think that's what's required for us to keep making this push to compete in this league.